Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So, guys, check in daily, be subscribed, have the little bell clicked, and let's move forward with understanding why mantras are so powerful. And before we do, I just want to thank everybody that's supporting us over on Patreon. We have 54 people that are doing $1 a month, which does help us, because again, we live very, very simply in basically a tiny home. And, we eat pretty basic, but clean.
Yes.
But clean. And we appreciate all your help because we couldn't do it without you guys. Oh, mantras are very, very powerful, especially when we're using the Sanskrit. It is said that Sanskrit mantras are put together of the sounds that open up your chakras, and I would have to say I completely agree.
One of the most common questions we get with people who come to us for some kind of coaching or spiritual work is, do I have to say the mantras out loud? And I have to answer that both ways. You don't have to, but if you do, you are allowing your own sacred frequency to step in and heal your body. Each of our voice boxes, our voice is a healing mechanism for us. We can do the mantras in our mind, but the benefit of healing and the benefit of soothing comes from you. And that's what makes our voice so important. So when you're even talking to a friend about a problem, if you are singing in the shower, these things are going to bring a type of healing. But then when you add Sanskrit mantras to your voice, it's just pure magic.
And the most simple mantra, Om, just by itself is so powerful. And I've had times where I was just doing Om, and what did I notice? Well, mostly I noticed the impact was more on the third eye and the crown. To me, anyway, the resonation was most apparent up there. Now, we're all individuals, so that can change. Although there are some things that are taken as kind of traditional. And one of the traditions is to start with Ganesha. And the root sound for Ganesha is gum. So when we vibrate gum, try that. Try to vibrate gum. Gum. Where do you feel it? So for me, I feel kind of everywhere, but tingling in the feet, I feel the base of the spine, and it is all about rooting us. And that's a good place to start. You start with the rooting and you go on up from there. We just got done with doing mantras, and I was noticing when I was doing Lakshmis, which traditionally for me, I do Ganesha, then I do Lakshmi, then I do Vishnu in that sequence. Usually, almost always, I'll always start by at least a little of Ganeshas to get it rolling, depending on our circumstance and how much time we have. And sometimes, like yesterday morning, I stayed with Ganeshas. I think I did somewhere around 1,080. I probably went through 108 mala beads 10 times or thereabouts, and I just stayed with that because I felt like that's what I needed to do yesterday. Now today, when I got to Lakshmi's, I felt a ton of energy in my heart chakra, especially the back heart chakra. So I know she was doing some balancing and she was doing some removing of blockages. And I needed that because, again, every day is different. Every hour is different. If you are familiar with any sort of circadian rhythm that we have when it comes to Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda is the same sort of way. Again, there's dominant organs at different times of the day. At one particular hour, it might be our kidneys that are being dominated by the energies around. That could change to the liver later in the day. Our emotions certainly change. You can bet on it that your emotions are going to be different when you first step through the door to work and when you're stepping out the door going home. If that's the case for you. Again, we're always changing. We're always in a state of flux. So when we do these mantras, they have certain effects on us, and they could, again, center us. They could really center us. That's really what, first and foremost, the mantras are for, is to bring us back into a state of balance and harmony, and also alignment with our higher self.
Right. And it does take a little bit of time to get those mantras imprinted in the brain so that when you do start to say them, the body and the mind says, okay, we're in a safe place now. We're in a quiet place now. It is time for things to settle down. One thing I see when one is doing mantras, I see energy a little bit differently. When I look inside someone's body and I see the veins with blood, it's a very bright blue color. It's like a silvery bright blue color. And when I watch Mike and he's doing something of that nature, I can see those colors light up, and then when he's done, they go down. So this is like some sort of energy that is putting more frequency, more energy inside and throughout your entire body. It vibrates all of your blood. So there's so much more going on when we do that. And the science, it's there, but it's simply not in the Western world. In the Western side of things, they think it's just, kind of nonsensical. It's just something you just do. But no, there's a very deep science when it comes to doing mantras.
Absolutely. So if you want to look at it from the biblical point of view, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. The Word was God. Again, when we put out our intention and we verbalize it, it's so much stronger. And the other thing, too, is it's resonating. The intention is resonating the energy to every cell. Every single cell in the body is an individual unit of consciousness, yet there's a oneness at the same time. It's the same thing with us here on Earth. And of course, the system that we're in is a system that has no comprehension of that, or it actually is the antithesis of that. And all the cells in the body, when they're in harmony, there's an abundant vitality and health. And so we can, again, awaken the original plan of the true creator within all of us by doing these mantras and really resonating them. And I would recommend feeling them and going by the feeling as much as possible. So, adjust the pitch of your voice, your intonation. If you listen to Buddhist monks, typically they're going to be very, very bass. They're going to have a deep type of vibration that they're putting out. If you listen to somebody pronouncing the Sanskrit ones in a traditional manner, they might not be so base as, say, the Buddhist monks. They're looking for that proper pronunciation and verbiage. Go by feel. I think feel is always the most important thing. Feel them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And again, I know that they can be intimidating, the Sanskrit mantras, but go back to Om. Go back to Om. It's the simplest. It's extremely, extremely good for your mind and your soul, your body, all of these things. Keep it simple and you will see progress. I invite you to try it for a week. Give yourself Om for 5 minutes, morning or night, and see how you're feeling at the end of that week.
Mantras definitely are very powerful. When chanted with devotion, produces enormous effects. So then too, when we truly have the feelings of love and gratitude, ask and ye shall receive. There are truths in the Bible. Again, it blows my mind when I read some of the Hindu scriptures and I find word for word the exact same thing. Exactly, word for word. From the biblical point of view, except for there's huge difference, in the understanding of who the self really is, and that's an enormous difference when we recognize that we are source is us. Of course it is, and it resides within us, and we can kindle that source within through the mantras. Again, the mantras will just take us right up in frequency. So they have the power to switch us. Like when we're listening to things that are assaulting us from the TV, if you are, subject to the energies coming off of so many of the pop stars today, the frequency is so low. It's so low. It's so heavy. It has such a icky feel to it. And the mantras can just push that all away. It's like a vibrational bath through every single cell of your body. Now, emotions. Do you guys remember the movie Ghost? Remember in the movie Ghost where Patrick Swayze finds himself with the guy in the subway? And the guy in the subway can knock things over. He can make cans move. And he's trying to teach him how you could do that. Well, it took emotions. You had to feel it. You had to feel it to gather more energy and more power and to have a more stronger effect. And it's the same thing with the mantras. Again, this is why we might resonate with one being more than another too, because it's just like, okay, so I'm craving potatoes or I'm craving bananas. Well, your body needs potassium. Your body needs some sort of mineral that's making you crave it. It's the same thing when we find ourselves gravitating towards, Lakshmi Ganesha. Maybe it's Aset. Maybe it's Kuan Yin. Maybe it's Mother Mary. Maybe it's Mary Magdalene. Maybe it's Yeshua. Maybe it's great. It could be any of them. There's something that's there in resonance that is in resonance with what you need at that particular time. You might have a blockage in your heart chakra that needs to be overcome, and you might be drawn to the particular mantra that could help you with that. Again, resonate it, feel it. When you are doing a mantra, if you make up a personal mantra, we were doing some before that we were doing just Om Shalom and saying Mary and Om Shalom Yeshua, using the Hebrew in there. But you think about the love of Mary and the love of Yeshua, and think about the love you feel at Christmas time when you see your kids so excited, maybe if you celebrate that way, opening up their gifts, or when you were a little one. And you were so excited and you just were bursting. When you can tap into that type of emotion, you can become extremely powerful manifestors.
Mm-hmm. I want you guys to remember this. Emotion is energy in motion. Our emotions are key, and it's best if we can learn to control them because they make a huge difference in how you resonate out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is another reason why in the Western world, Western society, it's been accentuated to be logical and left-brained, and the emotions have had a lesser status, so to speak. No, your emotions are powerful. Utilize them, and utilize them for good for yourself and for the whole world. So I hope this helps with why we do mantras. Absolutely. They'll open up chakras. They'll clear energies. They'll restore you to the original pattern. They'll get rid of the darkness that's around you. The dark entities have to go. They can't take these mantras being said. It's just very, very painful. It's nails on a chalkboard to them. They want to get the bleep out of there when they hear these mantras.
Do it for you.
Absolutely. So we love you guys. God bless as always. Namaste.
Namaste.